one of the big things was like this economic value and framework of Bitcoin. And so, why is there value there in the first place? And of course, that's one of the big complaints or arguments that we might hear, which I'm sure that's why you tackled that. There's nothing backing it. It's just like fiat or whatever it may be, right? So we hear that all the time. Some people think that, I think Peter Schiff tweeted today that, only it has to be commodity money. Only commodities are money. So walk us through kind of this economic value framework that you said you kind of have, if you will.
Yeah, of course. So money is it's a really difficult subject to understand. Most people don't understand why money has any value, and they haven't really thought deeply about it. So that's fine. But the thing that's really hard about money is that with other sort of assets, financial assets, they're almost always valued on their cash flow, and that's fairly easy to understand. So stocks or bonds or real estate, stocks have dividends, bonds have interest, and real estate has rental cash flow. And you could look at a house and say, well, why is this house worth $1 million? Well, it produces $70,000 of rent per year, so that justifies it a little bit. Whereas money doesn't produce cash flow. Gold doesn't produce cash flow. Bitcoin doesn't produce a cash flow. So why does something like gold have value? Well, the reason is money serves this other purpose in society, and historically has always served these purposes: a medium of exchange and store of value and unit of account. And through history, humans have valued certain goods for their attributes that make them good at these functions of money. And we really need money in a society because money is this incredibly important economic good that facilitates social coordination.
Right.
If we don't have money, then we don't have a division of labor. And if we don't have a division of labor, we have a primitive society. We don't have civilization. We have a barter-based society where people are trading, sheep for bread or whatever. And that
Right.
really limits the scope in which trade can occur. So money is this fundamental innovation that society needs for civilization. So what are the attributes that make for a good money? These attributes have been known for a long time, all the way back to Aristotle, who wrote about these. Things like divisibility. You want to be able to divide the money that you have into smaller pieces to use in trade. Verifiability. It should be easy to recognize that this is money and it's not easy to fake it.
Right.
Fungibility is another one. You want something which is essentially equivalent to any other piece or quantity of that thing. So gold is better as money than diamonds because diamonds are irregular in shape and quality. So they're not as good for trading. And probably the most important one of all of the attributes that make for good money is scarcity. You want to keep your savings in something that is very difficult to produce. If it's easy to produce, then your savings are going to be sort of diminished very quickly over time. So gold is much better as money than sand, because if sand were money, you could take a bucket to the beach and you'd be rich, right? So other people are not going to want to keep their savings in it, but gold is very difficult to produce.
Right.
So if you look at those attributes that make for a good monetary good, gold does really well over those attributes. And if you rank them, Bitcoin does even better. And one of the attributes I failed to mention was portability. Bitcoin is so much more portable than gold. I can transmit Bitcoin that I have to someone on the other end of the world almost instantly at very low cost. But if you were going to do that with gold, it'd be very expensive. It would be risky. So if we rank monetary goods along these attributes that we know people demand for money, Bitcoin comes out really, really well. It's superior to gold along almost every attribute except for established history. Gold has this very long established history. And I think Bitcoin is actually superior to fiat monies along every single one of these attributes. And in my article, I have a table where I list all of the attributes and I rank them as if they're, taking a test in college, A, B, C, D, E, F, and I rank all of them. And you can go check out my article and see this ranking. Bitcoin, I think, is superior to fiat over all of the attributes. And it's that's the reason that Bitcoin outcompetes these other monetary goods over time, because people slowly recognize that Bitcoin has attributes that they want in money and that they need in money. And so they choose to keep their savings in Bitcoin rather than these forms of money. And I think the thing is, understanding information can be transmitted very quickly around the world, but understanding takes time. And so I view this as like a process of the understanding of Bitcoin's superiority spreading around the world, but inevitably growing, which is why Bitcoin's adoption is also growing, because people are coming to this understanding and realizing, hey, it makes sense for me to keep some of my savings in Bitcoin.